What was your favorite cat in Cats?
That's a hard one. Is both none and all of them an appropriate answer?
Usually I would say no, but in this case, yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to pet Judi Dench's the most. She was Damocles? No, that's not the right movie. Deuteronomy.
You don't even... have you ever seen Cats?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I would like act out parts of it. I used to watch it at, I feel like my grandparents' house.
Oh, you had that old like... Or
it was like the BBC. It was from BBC, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. I was really into it, but then I haven't seen it since I was a kid. And then I watched this movie and was like, oh, okay.
So this is our janky setup for our first edition of whatever we're going to call this. Movies and coffee, movies on coffee and...
Could be comedians at tables getting coffee.
But we're not comedians, and you're definitely not, so that's... Yeah.
Well, I gave you a child.
Well...
Anyway.
I gave you a donation. So...
Such a dick.
Yeah, so we saw Cats.
We did.
And
we did do that.
We did.
Well, what had happened is we were planning on seeing Cats next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw that Universal was patching...
Pussing out. They were pussing out. That's what Universal was doing.
No, they were patching the movie because this is World of Warcraft. And we didn't want to see the patch. We wanted to see the original unfinished glory that was Cats, and thank God we did.
Yeah, so we hightailed it. We left the kid with his grandma, and we made it to the theater in time before they could patch the... I like to think that our showing was the last one before they did the patch.
I don't know, or maybe they're not patching it till tonight, till after.
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't know how you patch a movie because I'm not used to living in the future.
No. They're just downloading it like they do the movie anyway.
They don't switch the reel.
Jesus Christ. So what was your first reaction when it first starts, and you have it starts up in the sky
with the big cat face.
With the big cat face in the clouds, and then it pans down to London, and you have this little cat being thrown out.
This will have spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers. For those who don't know the story of Cats, the story, that famous play about a bunch of cats introducing themselves, and then one goes to heaven in a UFO. So,
you stole that joke.
That's been the joke for fucking 30 years.
Exactly.
So we pan down, and all these cats are skidding around, but they're not just cats; they're people cats.
Yeah, I don't know how to... Someone asked me to give them like my review of it, and I didn't know how to describe them at any point because in the show, it's people in leotards and cool makeup and fluffy cat fur shit.
Fluffy cat fur shit.
Do they even have tails in the show?
Yeah, they have tails.
Yeah, but they don't all move at once.
No, they don't because they don't have that technology.
Thank God.
But yeah, it's like if it's someone who doesn't know a furry trying to create a furry, I think, or create a movie for furries. Because I remember when the trailer first came out, and on Twitter it was like even the furries were just like, no, not on us, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I wonder, how the furry community actually feels about this. How does anyone feel about this other than horrified? Someone described it as it gave them a brain parasite, much like real cats do. And I get that because the first time I laughed out loud was at that cat face in the sky. I think it was because you laughed first.
Oh, yeah.
And then I spent the entire opening bit of them circling her and explaining what a jellicle cat was.
What the fuck is a jellicle cat?
I don't know. I've seen the movie and I still don't know what a jellicle cat is. I found it deeply upsetting and unnerving. So I was laughing, but I was trying to do it quietly because the women next to me unironically enjoyed the film. So I was trying really hard not to ruin it for them. I was literally crying with the effort of holding the laughter in because it looked ridiculous because they're doing this stuff which works really well on stage. This was not on stage.
No. Yeah, I felt as soon as it started like I was in a fever dream, and I had heard a lot of people saying that the effect of like just how strange it is wears off after a while, and that it just gets like boring or tedious or whatever. And as soon as I saw those fucking human cats running around in the street and then like taking the bag off of Victoria.
Who names their cat Victoria?
I don't know. I was just like, I am in on this movie. I am 100% in. I'm going to sit back, relax, and enjoy what I'm doing. And there's one or two moments where I got a little like the craziness kind of stops, and it's sort of oh, this is what I'm watching. But I think most movies of this ilk, like I'm thinking like The Apple. The Apple has a few moments where you start to kind of, oh fuck, this is just a bad musical, and then it gets back into high gear. And while this isn't quite the same level of oh what the fuckery as The Apple, it has a similar sort of, if only this was directed by Ken Russell, what is happening to me? Why? How did this get through? Etc. kind of feel to it. And just right from that very first few moments, those first shots, and they just throw you right in to the fucking cats too. Like you it just starts and you're like,
no, you got Barbie feet and then you have cats.
Yeah, Barbie feet, because you get one brief look at a human and it looked like CGI feet. I don't know that it was.
Everything looked so bizarre. I think the biggest missed opportunity is that we didn't get to see a dog with a human face.
Yeah, that's true.
We came really close.
Yeah, we get cats, mice, and roaches, but we don't get a dog. We hear a dog, we don't see the dog.
The mice horrifyingly have children's faces.
Oh yeah, the mice are bad.
And it's implied that she kills them.
I would assume so, because she eats the roaches.
Yeah, and that one was really scared during the Jellicle Ball.
Yeah.
And yeah, the roaches also have human faces, and she just eats those to punish them. Like, she's a monster.
Yeah, that was what was Rebel Wilson's character's name?
Jenny Bops. Jenny Any Dots.
Jenny Any Dots.
Yeah.
The Gumby cat?
Yes, that's
Jenny Any Dots, the Gumby cat. Who
it's a ride.
That's another. Okay, so the movie throws you right in, and you're just immediately like, oh fuck, look at all these cats, and you get the initial like introduction song for Victoria, who, if I remember correctly, in the stage play, she's already part of the gang, but
it's a tribe of cats.
Whatever. And in this version, she is used as the audience surrogate, so they're not just singing to the audience the entire time. Even though Judi Dench ends up singing to the audience in the end, which
she does that in the show too, apparently.
Well, yeah, but she they're singing to the audience to some degree throughout the stage show.
Yeah, because what's his fuck sings at the audience because he's the narrator.
But yeah, and he's like the head of the tribe, whatever his fucking name is.
Rumpelstiltskin.
That's not right. We get this initial song and dance number, and then from there it's like, okay, we're going to start introducing you to all these cats, and they're all trying to they're all gaming for the Jellicle Ball and to be the Jellicle to be the
Jellicle choice for the Heaviside layer.
Thank you.
Come on.
Duh, obviously. And so they start introducing these cats one by one, and the first one you get is fucking Rebel Wilson as Jenny Any Dots, and it is just immediately like, here's my vagina, and there's no vagina there, but she's just like, look at all this, and it's very disturbing. I'm not trying to fat shame or anything. It's not really about that, but it is kind of grody to see cat Rebel Wilson just spread her legs.
Why would you even say it's fat shaming? It's just weird for anybody, no matter their body size, to do it. It's weird for you to bring that up, Michael. Do you want to talk about it?
Fuck you, cuck.
Anyway, yeah, no, that was upsetting. I'm not sure that the choreography people have ever met a cat. Because mine lumber.
No, they studied the cats. That's how they got the digital fur technology, don't you know?
That they forgot to put on the final product?
Yeah, that's okay. So,
can we just talk about how bad the CGI was? I didn't notice it at first because I was like horrified by the way that their faces and their bodies and their hands and their feet and it just everything was a lot.
The CGI is very obviously not finished, and
They float.
there are a few scenes where you can tell the animators were like, this is going in the trailer, we have to make it look as good as possible. But for the most part, almost every scene, actually, I say almost, every scene has some shots of cats just basically gliding or floating across the ground. They're barely touching it. And it's so weird because I don't like Tom Hooper as a director. I don't think he's very good at his job. I'm not saying that he's the worst director in the world. He definitely has made some perfectly average films. The King's Speech is resoundingly fine. But he has proven over the course of his last few efforts that he is not particularly adept at filmmaking, and specifically not terribly adept at musicals. And the worst part is I love a good gimmick, but he's really into gimmicks. And so for Les Mis, he had all the actors singing on set while cameras were rolling. Everything you see in the film or hear in the film is them singing in that shot. They're not lip syncing, they're not being dubbed. It's singing day of, right then, right there. Which is a fucking terrible idea. But he did it anyway. And the film isn't great. And the songs are fine at best. And probably would have been better if he had the freedom to just run around with the camera, do a bunch of complicated shots, have people yelling and screaming, and just have the actors dubbed. Easy peasy. It's the way that almost every musical does it. Super simple. For this one, I don't know if what them singing is what they recorded day of. And frankly, I don't really care, because the more important thing is he decided that they should build sets that were like proportionate for the cats. And it's a mix. I mean, it's a mix of sets and CGI, but a lot of it is actual live sets. And I find it so staggering that you would have live sets. You would have these actors who are, I assume, motion captured. Although if they just had like VFX artists painting over them, then that would make all the more sense as to why it looks like such garbage. But if you have these motion captured actors, you'd think that they would look like they were on the fucking set.
What? So it took me a second to like figure out why that wasn't looking like they were on the set, because I remembered hearing that like he built everything. Also, the episode of Project Runway I watched where they had the big door from it because they had the cats challenge. So I got to see part of the set on Project Runway and it was great. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I don't care. But because they're not real humans, they're fake cat humans, so they had to do their feet. Is that why it's not connecting? Because their feet are visually affected?
I mean, it's tough, because if you look at something like the Planet of the Apes movies, in the Planet of the Apes, they have these guys in motion capture rigs on set.
Yeah, but that was a good movie.
Yes, but they're on set and they are physically touching the ground, and they have to go in and they have to add CGI over that entire human being. And it's even more complicated because they don't have the same exact proportions as human beings in Planet of the Apes. They actually have to do some serious shit. Here, they're basically just painting over them with fake fur. And somehow, Planet of the Apes, which I'll remind you, like several years prior to this movie being made, looks a bajillion times better. And I don't know why. I don't know why their feet look so bad, other than it's obvious that they rushed it out for awards season, I guess, which good job on that. I'm sure that 2.6 on IMDb is really going to make you a shoo-in for all the Academy Awards. Speaking
of shoo-ins, how about that time the dancer's foot went through the ground?
Yeah, there's just straight up there's glitches. I mean, there's actors who aren't properly rendered. I didn't see this, but apparently there are some actors who are still in their leotards and they're not actually properly, I don't know, catified.
But let's talk about how we felt about it. That's, I think, more important because, like I said, the women next to me unironically loved it, and we ironically loved it. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But I really want to have people over to our house, and I want to have a cat-themed dinner party where we bring like litter box snacks, like the things in the like that kind of the dessert, and maybe we all wear cat ears.
Are we gonna put chocolate in little litter boxes and have people like fish out the chocolates?
Yes, I want to do this. I want to have this big, stupid, elaborate dinner party, and we all watch this movie, and we can say the things out loud that I wanted so desperately to say in the theater. But I'm not a monster, and I don't talk during movies in the theater, but I talk to them constantly at home because I'm a good person. There were some bits that were supposed to be funny that were actually funny.
I can think. I'm assuming you're talking about the cat door that gives way to a bigger cat door.
Like, that was cute.
That's literally the only funny moment intended that I actually laughed at.
There was another one, I think, but I don't remember what it was, but I feel like there was at least one more.
Our entire theater, I feel like, laughed at the cat got your tongue joke.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kill myself. There's so many cat puns that are added to this show, and they're the goddamn worst. Anytime they want Rebel Wilson or
James Corden
to make jokes and I assume improvise on set, it's a terrible mistake. It's the worst part of the movie. It's not even like the haha funny worst part. It's stop worst parts of the movie.
Yeah, it didn't really work.
And I'll give them this. There is. So for the most part, almost the entire movie is like kind of cringy, what the fuck am I watching entertainment. And that's great. And I love that. That's my bread and butter.
It's very much your aesthetic too.
Yeah. And if we're being honest, that 2.6 on IMDb is not far off from the scores on most movies that I love. So there are a few moments where I was a little almost saddened. Specifically, Jennifer Hudson singing "Memory."
Oh my god, because she's incredible.
She's so good, and the film doesn't really do her too many favors. Luckily, Tom Hooper does that thing they did in Les Mis, where Anne Hathaway's singing in the ship or whatever, and it's just the one shot on her the entire time, which I don't think works very well, but. He does that with Jennifer Hudson several times when she's singing "Memory," and it works because it stops them from showing her fucking feet.
But it still shows her face.
That's true.
Which I love Jennifer Hudson's face.
Yes.
I don't love it when it's a cat with a runny nose.
Yeah, it's weird because I assume I don't know if they actually had to animate her snot. Or if the process they used for the faces allowed them to just take it and copy it over.
Or maybe she was just really sick the whole time and they got tired of editing it. Could have been.
This is not comedians at a coffee table.
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being realistic. I don't know anything about film. I'm the expert.
So, I guess when it comes right down to it, it is entertaining. It's very funny.
Well,
but not intentionally.
No. But with the entertaining thing, back to what you said a couple minutes ago about how when it slows down, you start to really be able to see the cracks, I guess. Mm-hmm. I hated every dramatic moment. Because I was like, I never thought I'd be thinking this, but can you please go back to dancing? Because at least then there was a lot of what the fuckery to look at. And it wasn't just uncomfortable where you're sitting there and you're like, oh, right, I don't know what the plot is. I'm not sure who the main character really is. I don't know why anyone agreed to be in this movie. And I don't understand why Idris Elba's cat does not have any patterns. And he just looks like a shiny naked Ken doll.
So Idris Elba, beautiful man.
Beautiful. I had a very confused boner during this movie.
So he is a beautiful black man, and his character is a black cat, and he is very short-haired. He has very
sleek.
Sleek, yeah. He's very sleek, And for a good chunk of the movie, he has this coat on. And it's very dumb because it's Idris Elba as a cat, but he has this coat on and it kind of allows you to accept it a bit more than you normally would. And then at one point, he just shows up buck-ass naked.
Yep.
And he looks like Ken doll Idris Elba.
Like the otter variant, because it does have that sleek look to it.
Yeah.
But the problem is his fur. This is a weird conversation. His fur is very close to his actual skin tone, and a lot of the other. Well, I mean, the cats are pretty much all naked except for some Converse, a couple pairs of pants, and a couple jackets here and there. But they're not as close to their skin tone, or if they are, they have a pattern or like longer hair, so it's not as odd looking, where he just looks like Idris Elba with no genitals or nipples with a like slightly shiny overlay.
Yeah, and a tail and cat ears. And
it's very strange because it's in the middle of the Jellicle Ball, so it's in the middle of like the climax of the movie, and so you're dealing with like this major musical number, this major choreography, and that. And everyone's high on catnip that Taylor Swift drugged them with from the sky.
Yeah, which her character, I can't remember these fucking cats' names. Bumblerella?
Bombalurina.
Bombalurina. I reread the synopsis for the play just to kind of like get a general idea of what the changes were, and they completely changed her character unless I missed something.
Yeah, because
I don't think she shows up until the Jellicle Ball in this movie, right?
No, because she comes down on the crescent moon.
Yeah. Like, because she wasn't part of Rum Tum Tigger's song, right?
No.
Okay. Because she is in the play, and she's not a henchman like she is in this movie.
Yeah.
Because she's basically McCavity's, like, side piece, I guess. Like, it was never explained, but it's a very strange change. Like, there's a lot of strange changes, too.
She also just disappears.
She also does just, like, she literally disappears. Like, he makes her disappear, and she never shows up again.
Yeah, because he can teleport people.
He can teleport people. In the play, he has, like, henchmen and...
Because they only take away Old Deuteronomy in the play, right?
Yeah. In this one, he just magic zaps her out of the room to a barge where Ray Winston as a fucking cat is like his odd job.
Yeah.
Which that character in the play, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and if you're a Cats fanatic, you're probably not watching this video. His character, I believe, in the play is part of like a story that another cat is telling.
Yeah, with Ian McKellen's character, because Ian McKellen's character is Gus, the theater cat. And he was both of those characters in the show. I'm 98% sure based on the description you read. To be fair, you were reading it to me when we were on the way home from this train wreck.
Yes.
So we were both kind of not in a good state of mind. Ian McKellen, though, standout. Absolute standout.
Yeah, I think you mentioned this. He's the only one that seems to know what he's in.
Yeah, that was my main takeaway, is he seemed to have recognized what the film was. And he just leaned into it. He meowed. Mm-hmm. But not like a meow.
At one point, he just looks at one of the characters in such a like, you believe this shit kind of way. And I felt that really hard.
And he drinks milk out of a tin, or was it water?
I don't remember that part.
He drinks a liquid, and it's just Ian McKellen lapping out of a lid of something or a bowl. I don't know. It was very strange.
And back to the magic, though. So they gave McCavity magic powers for a reason. I'm wondering if, like, in the writing sessions for this movie, they're like, Mr. Mistopheles, is that his name?
Yeah. Mistopheles, yeah.
So Mr. Mistopheles, he does magic to get Deuteronomy back. So we gotta like set up the fact that magic exists in this world. So in this world of talking humanoid cats, we have to make sure that people buy into the magic part of it. So we should just give another character magic powers. Okay, well, McCavity gets the magic powers because he's the bad guy.
Well,
okay,
couldn't he
cool.
teleport himself at least?
He could teleport himself, yeah.
In the show.
In the show, I don't know. I don't remember him being able to teleport in the show. He maybe. I don't.
I could be making that up. I could be mixing up stuff. Go on.
So
Looking it up.
So McCavity, he, instead of having henchmen, he's just this like weirdo who desperately wants to be the Jellicle cat that goes to Heaviside or whatever. And it's just such a weird thing because he has godlike magic powers.
Why didn't he just teleport himself onto the chandelier?
That's a good point. Yeah, and at the end, he's chasing after the weird
Griselda the glamour cat.
He's chasing after Jennifer Hudson, and he grabs the rope that's hanging down from her weird hot air balloon. And this is a movie about cats. And he falls off and winds up on top of a statue and is stuck there and can no longer use his magical powers. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, why can't he use his magical powers? What's his kryptonite? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm so befuddled by the decisions made in the movie. I don't understand why these changes were made when, honestly, it makes the plot of Cats even dumber than it already was.
Yeah, it's really weird. And I really want to get the perspective of someone who sees this movie that is completely unfamiliar with the show.
Oh, my God.
That has never heard a song from it, never didn't know it was a show. I want that perspective. Because I feel like I did a lot of drugs. And I know I didn't. So I just want to know, what is it like for someone that doesn't know? It's easy to follow because there's no freaking plot.
And you know what? If you are someone who did not know anything about Cats going in, decided to go watch the movie, which we highly recommend you do, please let us know. What did you think? What get all up deep inside them comments and tell us about your experience with Cats.
The movie, not in general, but I guess if you have interesting cat stories.
Yeah, if you have an interesting cat story, do that too. More comments, the better, I guess.
Yeah, but, we have 3.
Yes, we do.
Cats, not interesting cat stories. I just thought I should be a little clearer on that one.
Thank you. But yeah, anything else to add about Cats?
I have had the chorus to Jellicle Cats stuck in my head since we saw the movie.
Jellicle Cats.
I don't know the words, but
okay. Yeah.
Could be the new lullaby for the baby.
Yeah, that could be the new lullaby for the baby. Yeah, I don't. Anything that we.
Let's think about the things that upset us. Go down the checklist.
We don't have time to talk about everything that upset us.
The CGI.
Mm-hmm.
The mice. Idris Elba. Not him, but his...
Oh, by the way, all the performances are fine.
Yeah.
Like, there's no bad performance. Taylor Swift is a little miscast, unfortunately. I was kind of excited to see her just because it seemed like it would be such a great campy thing, and then it was kind of, I
think the problem was she was trying to do the accent, and she should not have tried.
Probably not, yeah.
Because Jennifer Hudson didn't try to do the accent, and I never noticed it. Like, that she had a different accent from everybody else. But T-Swift, Tay-Tay, tried, and it was not the most successful thing she's ever done in her life, but I still respect her as a woman and a performer. I guess I don't really care.
Did you notice that James Corden, when he first is like doing his whole thing, and he's walking down the stairs, and his not shirt, but the vest, is like lifting up a bit as he's walking because he has this big old rotund belly.
Yeah.
That it's like completely black underneath.
No.
This bugged the shit out of me. So it's like the model that they're using, the 3D model, is not connecting. Like, they don't have anything underneath his vest to connect it. And I don't know if it was them like trying to hide stuff with shadow or what, but it looks like there's just information missing. And then he takes off the vest and jacket, and he actually has like very light patterns on his chest, meaning that it makes zero sense that it would be like completely dark underneath there. It was just one of the little things that, like, I was just watching it like, how the fuck is this in theaters right now? And it made me all the more angry that it's going to get patched up and we're not going to be able to reminisce about this with the inevitable Blu-ray release or whatever. But
why could Rebel Wilson's character unzip her skin?
Is that what you're trying to think of?
No, but
that is a good point, though.
I don't remember her doing that in the show. But she's going through her thing and she's eating these poor little cockroaches, and then she decides she's going to do like this dance number. And there's a zipper here apparently, and she unzips her skin, and under it she's in like glitter and a pink.
It's sequins and like a dress, yeah.
And I don't understand.
And so when that happened, it was during the musical number, and me being such a big musical guy, I was like, okay, it's part of the bit because they're in musical land right now. And technically the whole movie's in musical land, but when you're doing the actual musical bit, you're allowed to be a little bit fantastical and do weird shit, and it doesn't really affect the reality of the film around it. And then when they are all tied up on the barge in the River Thames as hostages of
Growl Tiger.
Of Growl Tiger, yeah. And they're trying to escape. She unzips her fucking flesh to get out of the chains. Man.
Did you also notice that it felt like after the songs, they kept the pauses for applause?
Yeah. They... There's a lot of like awkward silences in this film where it's just like, and yeah, it's a very confident movie. It's a movie that's very confident of itself, and it just makes it falling on its face so much more fascinating to watch.
It's kind of sad. Like, I feel bad for people that worked on this movie.
Yeah, it's definitely,
including the cast. Because they obviously put a lot of that I remembered. I have a 2-month-old. I haven't slept in years. Okay, no. So we enjoy musical theater, both in the theater, and we like musicals and movies and everything.
See.
So, I do enjoy good choreography and all that stuff. Sometimes it does not translate great to screen, and that was a big problem I had with Cats, is they kept the style of the choreography from the stage show in the movie, and seeing these horrifying cat monsters doing complicated, beautiful ballet in, like, I want to say part of it was in a graveyard. Did they go through a graveyard?
Well, the first musical number is in a graveyard.
Yeah, and Victoria's doing her like
ballerina routine, yeah.
And it just doesn't work. It's comical.
All I could think about was, where are their anuses?
Like, I felt bad, like, internally laughing at how ridiculous it looked, because, like, that shit's hard. She worked really hard. She's a very talented ballerina, and they're all talented dancers. And the choreographer I think they did a good job. I had a hard time knowing if anything was good, because I was so just flabbergasted constantly. But it really was hard to take seriously, and that's a little sad.
Yeah.
So the main takeaway is, if you're adapting something from stage to screen, adapt it.
Remember that you're changing the medium. That's very important.
Because you can keep a lot of things from it. It's just on stage you have to be bigger and a lot more exaggerated, because you're on stage and there's someone sitting in the far thing and you're just a little body person doing stuff. When you're on a movie, you don't have to be quite that exaggerated. It's fine. We see you. The camera sees you. It just bugged me. And I like big musical dance numbers. Like, we saw the trailer for In the Heights.
Yeah, that looks great.
Oh, God, it looks so good. And judging by the trailer, they have big musical dance numbers that are probably similar to how they were on stage. But it seems like they've also adapted them a bit for camera angles and made them visually interesting. And to be fair, they are not all cats. So they already have that leg up.
They do have that leg up, yeah.
I wish this had been animated.
Yeah, I think if
It
you
was supposed to be animated at first, right?
yeah, I think Spielberg, or at least Amblin, which did co-produce this, way back in the day, was on board to make it an animated feature. I think, which would have been much better. I think if you did this as a traditional 2D animated film with kind of cartoon cat characters, it would work really well.
It does not work as live action.
No,
Is it even live action though? I mean, I know that they were physically doing it.
I don't know. I don't know what to define this as. But I do know what it is beyond that, and that is a cult masterpiece. It is, I will say it right here, the best film Tom Hooper has ever directed, because I actually want to rewatch it. And that is Cats. So yeah, if you liked this little discussion, I know it's a little ramshackle. We kind of threw everything together last minute because we just had to talk about cats. We'll have to kind of rework this a bit in the future. But if you would like more content from us, please like this video, subscribe on the YouTubes, click that little subscribe button, click the bell, I guess, if that's still a thing. Who knows? Maybe, I feel like any day now YouTube's going to take away the bell. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll add more things to make my life hell. Whatever the case may be, please keep on following us. And
Well, keep on following him. I just show up sometimes, and it's probably a mistake. The baby's funnier.
Let us know if it's a mistake.
No, don't.
Get all up in them comments.
No, only
make
give
my
me
wife feel
compliments.
self-conscious.
No.
Do it. So with that being said, thanks, buckaroos. Catch you next time. I'm just gonna pretend to talk while it the music fades out.
What music are we doing?
I don't know yet.
Can I sing a song?
No, don't.
It's a cats type of movie, and we watched it. It has cats, and it was a movie, and it was something we watched. I want to throw a cat's dinner party. I'll even cook. I don't like to cook, but I'll do it for this. The baby should never watch this movie. I think this is a song